As 2025 was rolling in, I wanted to spend time on a personal, relaxed Minecraft world. At the time, I already had a lightly modded beta 1.3 world going on, but as time passed, I found the world limiting in the things I wanted to do on it. I wanted something newer, but still within the golden age of Minecraft. After seeing how much love and attention beta 1.7.3 was getting, along with release 1.0's rise in popularity, I wanted to take on a new challenge. My goal was to spend as much time as possible in the most incomplete big named update, Beta 1.8. On March 9th, 2025, I created a Betacraft profile called Pure Beta 1.8, with 1.8.1 being the selected version. Using the seed Holly Piers, I started a new survival world. Originally, I was going to stick to the fullest vanilla experience, but it didn't take long before I changed my mind and wanted it to feel personalized. Within a week or so, I used the period-accurate version of the Wayukian texture pack, which was the earliest texture pack I used extensively, way back in 2012 and 13. That's about the extent of what can be considered vanilla though. Even though I planned to experience Beta 1.8 as it was released, I very quickly relearned what that meant. One minor thing I wanted to take care of was the XP bar. I found a mod to remove it from the HUD, but the orbs still work. Since the levels can't be used for anything, I opted for the cleaner look. No enchanting also means that weapons deal the same amount of damage as in Beta 1.7. A diamond sword killing every hostile mob in 2 hits is nice, but it also means that critical hits aren't as valuable. Every hostile mob also includes Endermen. Between that and the fact that they burn in daylight, Endermen are easy to deal with. Unfortunately, they are a bigger nuisance than their final versions. All my unexplored cave systems became chaotic with misplaced stone, and I've lost track of just how many holes I've had to fix in the walls of my builds. Not to mention the random leaves, logs, and grass topside. But other than the signs of Enderman, exploring caves is a much better experience compared to Beta 1.7 and earlier. As far back as InfDev, caves had a tendency to get cut off at chunk borders. This has always been something that annoyed me, and I'm sure plenty of other people agree. Beta 1.8 finally fixed cave generation. Alongside the new ravines and abandoned mineshafts, this makes exploring caves enjoyable for me. At this time, only 3 strongholds can generate per world, and I've already loaded up 2 of them as of recording this video. I wasn't considering this when I first made the world, but as time passed, I have since taken care not to load up any of the chunks where the last stronghold is expected to generate. But in the meantime, there is plenty more to do. I have come up with a very extensive list of goals. I have the intention of completing the world, even though there is no endpoint, until the full release. Once I have tackled everything on this list, I can claim that this world is complete. But rather than stopping playing on it, I've decided I will update to one of the Beta 1.9 pre-releases instead, and start a brand new establishment somewhere else. Then, I will start another extensive list of things to achieve. Some of these items ended up being more difficult than I thought, due to learning about the blocks that are most difficult, or even impossible to get. Passive mobs killed in this version and later do not respawn naturally, like in Beta 1.7 and earlier. Whatever sheep I find are most prized, because wool is very hard to come by, if not consistently created from string. Sheep don't respawn, they can't be bred, and they can't regrow their wool. Maybe I was missing out on some wool, but how about snow instead? Here, take a look at Amidst, which shows the biomap for my world. The overworld is comprised of 6 primary biomes, plus the ocean and rivers. And the taiga you see isn't cold, like what we got in release 1.1. In a world created exclusively in beta 1.8, it is impossible to get any form of snow in legitimate survival, nor can any ice be found. Now, I will admit I have chosen to take my world beyond legitimate survival, for the sake of keeping things relaxed. Too many items was installed, but not to give myself snow. I primarily use it to give myself the blocks that Endermen keep stealing from my builds, especially for the glowstone that used to disappear from the citadel thing back before I added bunch more glowstone. I also used it to acquire a few pumpkin seeds, but only after I found melon seeds in some mineshaft chests. However, I still haven't done anything with the mass quantity of pumpkins, so they ended up being rather pointless. I also added a mod that fixes some of the mining speeds, like fences, crafting tables, and furnaces, but I find that to be a convenience thing. However, I'm pretty sure this mod also makes bookshelves drop themselves, but I haven't proven it yet. It was not a planned feature, but I must admit it was very convenient for this library. I am almost always low on wood, despite the massive deforestation projects I've done. From here, you get a good view of most of my builds on the world. And here is a version of the world far less developed. One of these builds, unfortunately, required MC Edit to complete. I was able to get all the wool for this cross through legitimate means, but for this topmost layer, I couldn't place it by hand. Blame Beta 1.6 for that. In wanting the cross to be proportionally appealing, I used MC Edit to place 9 wool at the very top of the world, then deleted 9 wool from my inventory. So here I am today, after spending a whole year in this world. And to answer the question of what it was like, well, it's alright. It is an advancement from Beta 1.7, but Release 1.0 fixes a good chunk of the problems that Beta 1.8 suffers from, but not the Sniper Duel achievement, that still doesn't work. 1.1 finally fixes it, alongside even more problems caused by Beta 1.8. I view 1.1 as an honorary Adventure Update Part 3, but do I think that makes 1.1 the most complete Minecraft version? That's a topic for a different video I want to make. Okay, back to Beta 1.8. When used exclusively for a long-term world, there are noticeable features that are missing or incomplete, but it does have quirks like stone brick stairs dropping each variant of stone bricks, depending on rotation. Now, I don't expect to sway the masses. Beta 1.7 is popular for a reason, but I feel that by sharing my experience, this is a way of showing that Beta 1.8 is worthy a little bit of love, despite all of its flaws. Thank you all for watching. Bye.